Hey there, it's Diane the Nursing Geek. Welcome back for episode 2 of Nursing Geek Tries to Learn How to Record Let's Plays on the SoarvivorCraft server. And also, Nursing Geek realizes most of her tools are about to fall apart. Do I have backups of those? I do like to have backups on these, and I do, so I'm not going to make anything more right now. Oh, let me get rid of the dog food over here. Don't really need to be carrying that around. And I don't know that I really need to be carrying this around either. Why do I have a random flower? I just don't even know. Okay, not going to worry about that. Because my goal today is to bring you to visit my other home in Hoshido, which is one of the newer towns on the server. Oh, is it getting dark already? Of course it is. Well, it is a long train ride. So, kind of doesn't matter when we get started. There will be night travel involved. And if I can make it, not that way. I can make it to the train before it gets too dark. That would be nice. I've gotten to be a little bit less chicken, haha, about the monsters at night. But they're still not my favorite thing. They're just an added challenge along with the mining and the building. The nice thing is, it's not that bad of a walk to get to. The Wolfboro train station, South Shopping District stop. And here we have all departures. Let's jump in. And there we go. Apparently I need something to eat. Don't particularly need that hoe there. And I have not memorized the way around this loop around Wolfboro, but I do at least know the way I need to go. I am so going to have to speed up a whole bunch of this, aren't I? different. Huh. I wonder... Alright, I'm not gonna mess with that. I think it might have been a mistake on somebody's part, but I'm not gonna mess with it in case there's like a reason for that. Okay, so welcome to Hoshido. And this is my little house. I seem to always want to build upward, even for little houses. So here we have Romulus. Can you maybe not turn? Okay, they don't want to unsit. This happens sometimes, and I don't know why. So this is my house of Hoshido. We actually traveled through the night and it's still night, which I know they recently changed the timings of day and night. People were asking for day to be longer for those who prefer to build by daylight, but they also asked for night to be longer for those who like to have the challenge of zombies and skeletons and whatnot while they are doing builds or whatever they are doing in the nighttime. I know originally a couple of folks had said, well, if you want to fight hostile mobs, then just go in a cave somewhere. But it's not just about wanting to fight hostile mobs, I guess, but rather wanting to have that challenge element while doing other things. Which I can understand even if that's not particularly my thing. Like, I'll deal with the monsters because they're part of the game, but they're not the reason I play the game. I just deal with them if I have to. Now will you get up? If I put my shield away, can you get up? If this is weirding me out, why can I not make you unsit? So you notice there was thing 2 in the previous episode at the cattle farm. So this is thing 1. They were originally both here. This is how I learned of the problem of animals teleporting with me, because I had thing 1 and thing 2 here along with Romulus, and I teleported and thing 2 came with me. Oops. Why can't you unsit? I mean, I suppose it's just as well, but... So, being my third home, I finally had a little better idea how to tackle the mining under your house aspect of things. Also, the organization of stuff. Can you unsit? You can't unsit either. So, I just cleared out levels and levels and levels to the extent of my claim. Gathering up various ores along the way, mostly iron and coal. I don't think coal's technically an ore, at least not in reality, but in Minecraft I think it's under that classification. So lots of levels, until I got all the way down here. Underneath all this cobblestone is bedrock. There were some diamonds here and there. That's where I finally found my first gold and diamonds. My first self-dug gold and diamonds. I had actually been gifted a gold shovel. This just looks too dark to me. There's been some weird lighting effects lately. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do with these levels now. I'll figure out something at some point. But as a mining approach, it made sense. Within a town, I definitely did not want to do any sort of mining that went beyond the limit of my claim, because then I could end up under where somebody else would ultimately claim, and everything would be gone and all hauled out, and that would be very disappointing for them. Now that I have figured out that this seems to be the approach that works for me, though, I think I am going to replicate it at my other locations, which I've actually started to do at the cattle ranch. Hi there. So, let's take a quick look at Hoshido, which has actually changed quite a bit in the time since I've been on the server. I had to take a few days off because of a work trip, which I hopefully will have put something up on my main channel about. But I will start, actually I will start with the lovely aquarium, which is just amazing to me. And not only because I have no idea how to capture fish live, but so this was designed primarily by Galton Prawn, with help from Corn Prawn and Ultra Seal, and contributions from Fawny the Turtle and Burning Rubber. So it definitely took a lot of folks to make this happen. Oh, and why am I running around with my sword out? Because we do get a lot of monsters. So there is an observation area below where we'll go, but it's also really cool to look up here and see all the turtles over there and the fish swimming around. Hey turtles. And then we've got some specific exhibits of blue tangs, cichlid, goatfish. There's some more individual exhibits down here, I believe. Sunstreak. clownfish, aka Nemo, dottyback, and ornate butterfly fish. I presume these are representative of who is swimming around in here. Why am I hearing, well, why am I seeing in the subtitles a bat taking off? There must be a cave underneath here or something. So this is the aquarium, which was the starting point, I believe, that led to the zoo, although the zoo was already under construction by the time I got here. But I think the aquarium came first and then sort of spread. Starting with the polar bear exhibit. Hi there. Yep. Hi. Yawn. I love the way the polar bears yawn. I find it very amusing. We now have a food court, which Golden Prawn developed, and I just cannot get over this whole lighting extravaganza up here. It's really cool. And in here we have a couple of ocelots who are very shy. They are sometimes easier to see from up above. There we go. There's one. They tell me that there are two in here. I have only ever seen one at a time. And we have a wolf exhibit. And that's what was all here when I got here. And I asked, well, what can I do to help? I was told, well, we need a farm animal exhibit over this way somewhere. So I decided, let's have a farm animal exhibit that includes a petting zoo. So people can actually come inside. My thought was that this anteroom would be for bringing in baby cows and sheep. So that the petting zoo would actually just be this part, but that doesn't seem to be anybody else's interpretation, so which is fine. If what makes sense is that people would come all the way in to pet the animals, then cool. Bah. And then we have our barn, where I guess we can bring them inside for I don't entirely know what. I haven't quite figured out the indoor layout yet, other than just to make sure that nobody escapes. And I don't know, I should probably do something about this water supply. I had created it in order to harden up the concrete for the barn, and it doesn't really need to be here anymore. And over here we have okay, so we have a difference of opinion as to whether these are chickens or ducks. I hatched them from spy chicken eggs, so I'm gonna go with chickens. But I do know that they like to swim a bit more than chickens typically do, so one could argue that they are ducks. If you're gonna lay eggs for me, I'll take them. let's get that out of my hand. I don't want to walking around holding an egg like a zombie. Yeah, ducks, Hoshido's most cute animals, and not spies. AKA chickens. I have no idea what kind of texture pack he uses. Yeah. I heard another egg. There we go. Okay. One more place to take a look at that I know of that was in development is the planes exhibit that was being set up here. For the llamas, which is where some of the llamas I have, not the two that I introduced in the previous episode, but some others that I inherited from Pupsy Girl. I believe they are going to come here as soon as I can, get them here. Why are you spinning? Okay. Good day. So yeah, they, I don't know if I already said this, they changed the day length. Yeah, I did talk about that. I just don't know what the new day length is. The standard Minecraft day, daytime is 10 minutes, nighttime is 7 minutes, and sunrise and sunset are a minute and a half each. I'm thinking they might have gone for 20 and 20 on day and night, or something like that. Oh yeah, and they added a designer thing for the zoo. That's a little higher billing than I think I deserve for the farm, but that's okay. I'm not complaining. Yeah, so it's everybody who's been involved and has donated. Alright. Food court. There's a lot else going on in Hoshido. I know that they've been working on creating a shopping district. And we have more horses. Animals waiting for exhibits. Okay. Aha, here we go. I think this is what's going to be the shopping district. This is a really cool effect with the water. Leading up to the castle. So once I find out what the layout and setup and everything is going to be, I'll probably build my wood shop here. Oh, random XP lying around. Okay. And is this the castle? This doesn't look like what I remember of the castle. Oh, I think that's because I have only come in this way before, maybe? No, I think they've just done a lot of remodeling. So I'm not going to do a tour of the castle for a couple of reasons. There are a lot of dark areas with monsters, and while I'm Not as much of a scaredy cat as I used to be. I don't particularly want to go looking for them. But I am really, really amazed by this castle. The other reason I'm not going to is because I could potentially end up just wandering directly into someone's living space, because I know there are living spaces here, and you know, that's for them to offer a tour if they want. We do have a library here though, which is cool. We've also got a public library down by the train station. But this town is, as I say, it's one of the newer towns on the server. I don't think it's the new Est, but it is one of the newer. Towns. Which is why I decided this was the town that made sense to join. Yeah, some of the more established towns like Rosebud and Tall Cacti, all the niches are kind of already filled. Whereas with a newer town, I figured I might have a better chance of finding my place, which I'm not entirely sure I've done yet, but I'm working on it slowly. I really love this stylized fish on the side of the aquarium, can I just say? That is just really cool. So now you have seen all three of my spaces where I hang out. I'm actually going to send my character back over to cows. Hi, cows. Because for the baby cows to grow up, somebody has to be here to keep the chunk loaded. Which, you know, doesn't actually work if I come here and log off, but the more time that I'm here, the better chance they have to grow older. So, I guess you know what? No, this does not make the most sense for screenshot. Because today was more about Hoshido. We go back inside my little hut. There we go. I guess you can see that, no, see a bit more of the town. No. Definitely still getting the hang of this. Okay, we'll go with this for now. Bye-bye.